Describe the role of communications in counseling and the implications of the difference between the client's and the counselor's culture and worldview. Communication is a process of sending and receiving information among people. Many people believe the significance of communication is like an importance of breathing. Indeed, communications facilitate the spread of knowledge and in the form of relationship between people. Moreover, communication is the foundation of all human relationships. At first, strangers will start talking and how they react, their relationship will be formed. As they have more interactions and communication helps to express people their ideas and feelings. At the same time, help us understand the emotions and thoughts of others. As a result, we will develop affection or hatred towards other people, and a positive or negative relationship will be created. As counselors, it's crucial and important to be aware of the client's culture, identity, ethnicity, race, gender, and other aspects of the diversity, which play a key role in the counseling process. Language differences might be perhaps the most important stumbling in the multicultural process. Language barriers impede the counseling process when clients cannot express their complexity of their thoughts. Several clients who speak English as a second language might wish to speak in their native language. Counselors should encourage clients to use the language which they feel more comfortable, according to Ramos and Sanchez 2007. Counselors might employ special trained interpreters or learn a second language and become bilingual. For example, one day I was working as a dyslexia teacher and I was conducting an R for a student whose parents were not English speakers. During the meeting, I felt there was something kind of different because they were very quiet and afraid to ask questions. So I decided to start speaking in Spanish, and I saw a huge difference, a way of relief from them. Their meeting ended very well because they understood everything in regard to their student. Verbal and nonverbal communications are very important for the counseling process. Learning cultural competence and practices, theoretical approaches, and practical self-reflection will help us acquire the necessary skills to engage a diverse clientele. Describe cultural identity and the relationship to the counseling process. A major assumption of culture-affected counseling is that we can acknowledge our own basic tendencies, that we comprehend other cultures, and the limits our culture plays in our comprehension. It is essential to understand our own cultural heritage and worldview before we can try to understand and assess other people. Adherence to a specific counseling theory or method might be also limit the success of the counseling. Many cultures groups do not share the same values implied by methods and thus do not share the counselor's expectations for a conduct or outcome in the counseling session. To encounter these differences, effective counselors must investigate their client's cultural background and be open to a flexible definition which is appropriate or correct behavior. Cultural counseling, however, seeks to rectify this imbalance by acknowledging cultural differences, appreciating the value of the culture, and using to aid the client. For example, in the cultural value of the Chinese American, passivity rather than assertiveness is rewarded. Quiescence rather than verbal articulation is a sign of wisdom. Since humility and modesty are so valuable, it is difficult for a counselor to draw out a response for a Chinese American. The reticence, which reinforces silence and withdrawal, an appropriate way to deal with the conflict might be interpreted as a resistance by an uneducated counselor. African Americans place a great value on family, especially their children, who are seen as a gift from God, and a social relationships and a great emphasis in the community and their place in. according to McDally, Dogman, Park, and Taylor, 2010, will be helpful to use that, helping the clients identify and talk about personal spiritual experiences. In conclusion, it is impossible to change the backgrounds, so counselors can avoid the problem of stereotyping false expectations by examining their own values and norms, researching clients' backgrounds, and finding counseling methods to suit the client's need.